Hey everyone. I wanted to share with you some of the teachings of yoga to help you understand some of the inner workings and some of the history of the practice. So yoga is said to have 8 limbs. You may have heard of the 8 limbs of yoga. So we'll break those down one at a time and start with the first limb called the yamas. And the yamas loosely translates into the word restraint. And there are 5 parts of this. So we'll talk about them one at a time. The first part of the first yama is called ahimsa. And what that means is peace. It also translates to non-violence. So you might think of maybe the 10 commandments, thou shalt not kill. And yes, that is certainly a part of it. So maintaining non-violence means not hurting or harming anyone, including yourself. But it can also mean something a little deeper. Obviously, we think of harm as actually hurting someone physically, but you can also harm people mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and you can do those things to yourself as well. So ahimsa reminds us to be peaceful and nonviolent to ourselves and to others in all capacities. It also means nonviolence to our bodies and our minds, which means we have to treat those parts of our bodies really well, which means feeding ourselves good food, good drink, and also watching what we put into our mind. We spend a lot of time thinking and talking about what we put into our bodies in terms of food and nutrition, but we also have to think about what we put into our minds and making sure that we're putting peaceful things into our minds. So maybe taking a little break from violent movies or TV shows or music. So when we follow the first limb of yoga, the first part of the first limb of yoga, ahimsa, we remind ourselves to be nonviolent towards ourselves and others. The second part of the first limb of yoga, the yamas or restraint, is truth, called satya. And here in truth, we remind ourselves to be true to ourselves and to others. When we think of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not lie, and that is true. We don't want to tell lies. That also means not lying to ourselves. So it means being our true self and loving our true self. When you live in truth, it means you speak your mind and you're not afraid to stand up for what you believe in. The third part of the first limb of yoga is asteya, which means to receive or maintain non-stealing. So what that means, loosely translated into English terms, is that we want to receive and maintain what we have and not take what doesn't belong to us. So again, if we want to think of the 10 commandments, thou shalt not steal, that means clearly we're not going to take something that is not ours, like stealing from a store. But it also can mean non-stealing in other ways. For example, stealing someone's emotion. Sometimes people can act like emotional vampires and drain us from our positive energy. Sometimes people can steal other people's thoughts or ideas and claim them as their own. So when we think about receiving and maintaining and non-stealing, we think about having what we need and being honest and truthful about our own thoughts and ideas, and not taking from others what is not truly ours. The fourth part of the first limb of yoga, the yamas or restraint, is brahmacharya, which means non-indulgence. So what that means in English terms is we want to try to avoid overindulging in things that give us pleasure. It's very easy to overindulge in the foods that we like, the drinks that we like, the activities that we like. But we have to remember that we do need some sort of restraint in our life in order to maintain our own integrity and control. We also know that it's not good for us to overindulge in certain things, such as food or drink. So, in order to maintain a healthy mind and body, we try to be minimalists. The fifth and final part of the first limb of yoga, the yamas or restraint, is apathy or benevolence. And the idea here is non-possessiveness. We want to try to avoid attachment to things that we think will make us happy. This means when we feel like we need something in our lives in order for them to flow properly. all we really need are our friends and family, shelter, food, the things that are around us. We sometimes get caught up in our very busy world of materialism and think that we need the latest and greatest thing. But we really want to try through yoga to understand and realize that we don't really need a lot of possessions in order to be happy. And that's where we find gratitude. So one way to practice this is to be thankful for what we have, and that will make us not yearn for stuff we really don't need. Hey everyone, Tina here with Yoga Flow with Tina. I hope you enjoy this free video, and if you like what you see, jump on over to yogaflowwithtina.com to see our entire collection, and consider becoming a member. I look forward to practicing with you. I'll see you on the mat.